Hola amigos, welcome to Pop Flow, the channel that will demonstrate you that pop is not dead. My name is Laura and the time has finally come. Let's talk about boy bands. Yes, welcome your inner fangirl or fanboy to this conversation because today I am going to do a top 5 of those pop boy bands that I like the most, that I listen to the most, and I have to say the selection was very hard. Very hard. So let's get started. What's a boy band? Well, a boy band is normally a music band formed for at least three young men, or four, or five, or even seven, who those typically sing in perfect harmony all together and also have some synchronized moves. Boy bands can happen actually in any music genre, but it's most common to fall into the pop category. Also, the way they look, it's very important. The image here is all what matters. They always look according to their personality or their age, and somehow they manage to have actually a great style. Very well combined. Bravo. Last but not least, if you see a video clip of a boy band, they all have something in common: the intense look. I wonder how many hours they actually practice in front of a mirror to get the look, the look. I don't know. I think it's not my thing. I can't do that. But now you know, if you want to join a boy band, you have to get a great look, an intense position, and to get you inspired and help you with this, I prepared a top 5 of my favorite boy bands. I am a 90s girl, and during my childhood, I grew up listening to most of them. Actually, the 90s was a huge decade for too many boy bands, especially American ones, and the most influential ones decades after, they all started actually like in the mid 90s. So, let's get started with this ranking. Number 5, Milli Vanilli. Yes, yes, okay, I got it. Maybe you won't expect this group here, but somehow they were a boy band. Kinda because they were fake, but they were one. Their genre was actually R&B mixed with pop, and their songs were very catchy. Try to play after this video, girl, you know it's true, and let me know later if you don't have the melody or the song in your head. My dad actually brainwashed me with the debut album on and on in the ride going to school when he was not in the mood maybe for AC/DC or Bon Jovi. They sold actually 7 million copies worldwide, and they even won a Grammy. And that's when they knew they were not real. Because, like Lizzie McGuire in Lizzie Superstar movie, they had a backup singer behind. So, yeah, things happen also in real life. Not all is in the movies. 4. One Direction. Of course. Of course, if you know me, I have to mention them here. I was actually quite older when they become a thing, when they started, so I cannot say I'm a direct tuner or a huge fan, but actually it was again my dad's fault because he was listening on and on to A Story of My Life and Best Song Ever, which I believe they're like in the same album or is like in the same era. But yeah, I started listening to them after those two songs. Like I listened to them with the singles, so don't even ask me if I know all the songs because I don't know all of them. I know the ones that I like, and I'm pretty sure that if I was way younger, I'd probably ended up being a direct tuner because yeah, they had something at the end that it really caught my attention. My favorite member actually is Harry Styles, and I always discuss this with my friends that I thought that he will be the next Robbie Williams, like in Take That. And I still thinking I'm right with that one because he had always all the attention, not only for the fans but also for the industry. Even though Liam Payne's ego cannot think otherwise. I'm sorry for that. Sorry, Liam. Yeah. Another one that I like is Cyan, and I really wish that he had the same success as Harry Styles because I think he deserved better, but that's also another topic. Number three, the Jonas Brothers. Oh my God, the Jonas Brothers. Like, I don't know how old I was. I know I was in high school and I skipped class to go with a friend to a signed album event that they were doing like in the middle of the center in Madrid, not middle, but like in the city center. And by the time we arrived there, like midday, the place was already crowded of people. And somehow we managed to get our album copy signed. So, yes, I can say I met the Jonas Brothers for 30 seconds when I was younger. Best day ever. One of the best day ever, actually. Because when I met them, they had this unforgettable style, like this. Look at those pictures, that remarkable Jonas Brothers style, because they were not only virgins, but they had this weird style taste that we all remember actually. So that's pretty good one actually. I don't really follow them like right now, but I do listen still to some of the old songs and the old albums. And I also really like the band that Joe Jonas has, Dance. So I never was like a fan of one of them. I actually like the three of them because I think they work perfect together as a band, like Hanson, maybe because they're brothers and they understand each other's. I think they do a great job as a boy band. Number two, NSYNC. Well, with NSYNC, actually, I have like a love-hate relationship because when I was younger, I used to think that Blue, Five, Westlife, which probably they will be on my top six, and NSYNC were trying to copy somehow the Backstreet Boys. So for me, like it was like with one band is enough because they actually were doing like quite the same, like if you put them all together, it was like the 90s, the boy bands were a thing, so they were doing pop, they were doing the same dance moves, they were doing like this the way the look, the look was the same. So everything was very similar, and I thought they were trying to be the Backstreet Boys, and I never liked that. But something good that NSYNC actually had was Justin Timberlake because he came from the Club Disney, from the American version, so he was actually quite popular already, and NSYNC was like the next level for him. And as I mentioned before, artistic wise, he is the successful one, so the story repeats here, like the story of Robbie Williams in Take That, Harry Styles in One Direction, so this is the same. And actually, NSYNC reunite in 2013 for a show that Justin was doing in the MTV Video Music Awards, and also in 2019 they all reunite for a festival where Ariana Grande was on stage. So maybe we should get ready for a comeback. Actually, I mean, I think right now I will be ready because now I don't have this love hate thing that was when I was younger. So I think now will be like prepare for a comeback, but also I don't really see that happening. Maybe I think it would be like when the Backstreet Boys came back, but there were four, or maybe like the Spice Girls also, like this reunite tour, but that's it. Or maybe a greatest hits album with maybe some B-side songs, But I don't really see Justin Timberlake going back to NSYNC, like maybe for a show or something like that, but not like forever, because I don't think he's now focused on that. I think he's more focused on his solo career. So I don't really see him right now being in a boy band, but you never know. You never know. Probably I will give them a chance if actually they come back now. We'll see. Keep watching. Gonna be May. Number one, Backstreet Boys. Of course, of course. They have to be my number one because they're my number one in my heart, you know? In the shape of this heart, Backstreet Boys are there, still there. It doesn't matter how old I am, they're still here, you know? You know how hard it was being just 4 years old and being love struck by Nick Carter? Like, I didn't know what a crush was, but I had one. Since little. My room instead of being full of Barbies was full of posters that my dad again bought me these teen magazines that my mom never let me read them because I was 4 years old only, but my room was full covered of posters actually of Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, not NSYNC, but Hanson. Like I mentioned them with the Jonas Brothers, but Backstreet Boys was the main thing. I actually had some cassettes back then. I managed to have all the CDs, not the new ones. I think I stopped buying them when the This Is Us album. I think that's the last one I actually have. Then they went together with the New Kids on the Block, so probably I also have that one, but that's it. But yeah, I managed to have like all the CDs, also from the 90s. I went to 3 concerts, one with my mom. My brothers also work at the security guards from the concerts when they were way young. So that's why I grew up like basically listening to Backstreet Boys because my brothers were also listening to them and all that stuff. And yeah, when I was older, teenage older, I managed to meet them too, and that was another best day of Laura's life because I would never in my life back then imagine that I could have a chance to actually meet them, and that was so that was such a weird experience because I was quite young compared to the other people waiting for them because mostly of the fans, of course, are like way older than me, at least 10 years older than me, right? So, um, I saw also in the concerts pregnant woman, and I'm not talking about just one casually. No, I'm talking like a bunch of pregnant women back there sleeping in the streets waiting for them to appear, or sleeping in the streets for a week to actually get into the concert. And then when they were inside, because of all the sleeping nights in the street and all like the really bad habits that they were doing, they had to at the end go in the seated area and stay there because they could not manage to be 4 hours standing there waiting for the Backstreet Boys inside the venue, right? So that was a bit of that was a bit of a shock for me because I love going to concerts, but I would like never go to a concert standing at least if I'm like this pregnant, like not even a little bit, but like this huge pregnant. Because you have to take care of yourself and you have to take care of the person you have inside of yourself, right? So you have to set up also some preferences, right? Like you have you have life there. You have to protect that, and it's quite difficult to protect that if you're like queuing for 7 days in a row, day and night in the street. I don't know. For me, it's just like it was amazing to see. Also with One Direction, it happened. Like the girls were queuing for 3 months in Madrid. I don't know in other countries, in other cities, but in my city, they were queuing for 3 months, collapsing queues with other concerts, bringing their mothers, paying university students to do the queue for them while they were also in school because they were minors. So I always queue the same day of the concert if I want to. Like now that I'm getting older, I even don't queue. I mostly go 1 hour after, no, 1 hour before, um, or just when the doors open or things like that, because I'm getting like very tired of all of that. But I cannot believe that even mothers are doing that. Like, I would not do that. I'm so sorry, but I would not do that. So, this with the Backstreet Boys, coming back to that, it still happens by the day of today. And actually, we can say that the Backstreet Boys is the most successful boy band in the world if we don't compare them to the Beatles, because some people think that the Beatles were a boy band, which I mean, technically, yeah, because they were like four young men doing music, like catchy songs, and a stereotype of the boy bands is that actually your audience uh, probably will be a bunch of young hysterical women, like this little 4-year-old me. But so technically, yeah, but I don't know. Without considering that, I think Backstreet Boys is the most successful active band because they're still active. They're actually preparing a world tour right now, and the tickets are selling as fast as you can imagine. Like, I wanted to go to the Amsterdam concert this year, at the end of this year, and I don't have a ticket because tickets sold out in a day. Like, if they are the Rolling Stones, in a day. And the reseller tickets are rising up above 200 euros. So I'm like, nah, it's not gonna be the one paying that. But probably people will do. So that means there's still a thing. So if you thought that Backstreet Boys, are they still doing stuff? Are people still liking them? Yes. The answer is yes, because if the reseller tickets are that high, it's because people are buying them. So yes, they're still a thing. They still do things though. They still do albums and they still do new songs. So call it teenage nostalgia or childhood nostalgia, depends of where you've been when they were young and you were younger. But new generations have also jobs right now, so if you mix all that, the pregnant woman or the woman with children that they want to take the kids to the concert, and the new generations that listen to the new songs and all that, if you mix all that, yeah, you still have a huge audience to perform. So I think Backstreet Boys actually have a lot to offer yet. Yeah. So, being said this was my top 5, but before finishing this video, I actually want to mention another boy band that actually broke records in my country. Their style is pop, of course, but they were like a Spanish version of One Direction, and that's how they actually compared them, like the Spanish version of One Direction. So imagine how huge they were in Spain and also in Latin American countries. It was insane. They even made like camp rocks with them and all that stuff. They were called Outing, and if I'm not mistaken, there were like 5 boys, young boys, doing a lot of pop catchy songs, especially for the radio. They were singing in English, but also in Spanish, and they were a boom. Like, if you ask me about Spanish boy bands, like pop boy bands, the first one that I'm actually going to think about is Outing, because they were insane. I was not a fan myself, but they were huge, incredible to see. And we didn't have enough back then with One Direction, yet we still had Outing. It was like too much. For a moment, I was thinking that we were living again in the 90s with all these boy bands trying to hit the records of Backstreet Boys. So it was quite fun to follow. It was quite, from the outside, it was fun to see girls running behind these guys, but you think otherwise, and probably that will be very annoying to live with. But they were that huge. And like One Direction, they went on a permanent hiatus back in 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And now some of the members decided to go solo. And there is no, I think there is just one member, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there is only one member that actually is the most active one. I'm not gonna even say successful because I don't really think that in solo careers, any of them went like higher than the rest. Because I actually think two of them are quite active, successful in comparison to the others. And actually, one of them um, performed last year in Eurovision. Is this guy with the big moon that you can see also here? And he was in that band. And they actually tried to go to Eurovision when they were a band too, but they didn't pass the finals. So, yeah, I mean, if you have some friends that are interested like you into a boy band, go for it. Really, if you are talented, if you have the skills, the dance and the looks, that will go after, don't worry. But if you want to do a boy band with your friends, pop band, rock band, whatever, if you want to do a band, just go for it and do it, because you never know how big you're gonna become, you know? And this is a lot of hard work. Like, they spend a lot of hours doing all these dance moves and try to make them neat. Like, if you see the documentary of Blackpink, which probably I will talk about girl bands in another video, if you see that documentary, you see how many hours and for how many years they spent in the academy training and trying and testing and proving. And yeah, this is really weird that it happens just in 1 year and you get successful. It has a lot of work behind to follow. So if you're considering to start a boy band, just start and let's see, and have fun and take it maybe first as a hobby and see where the hobby goes. And you never know, maybe I'm talking to the next One Direction member, you know, of course, One Direction member. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this one. Like this video so then I know that you enjoy it, and comment below what do you think about the boy bands. If you have a favorite one also, and if you also think that the Beatles were actually a boy band, because I feel very curious about that. I'll be reading like always. Thank you once again for watching this video, and see you in the next one. Mwah!